Hi again. This is our session 2 of module 1, your behaviors, understanding behaviors. What is it that drives behavior? So we all have filters that we use to make sense of this world around us. These are shaped by our experience, our education, values, personalities, and even our emotional state. When we observe others' behavior, we judge this behavior through these filters. If you look at the iceberg, you can see all the aspects that affect your behavior. What lies below are what are personal to you, but what's above is what people actually see and the way that we judge others as well. So we need to understand what lies below the waterline and be aware of what drives our behavior. So being aware of one's behavior and knowing your trigger points, one is able to manage one's behavior, keeping it professional and consistent. So important. Building those relationships, people understand that you are solid, that you are not in a good mood one day and a bad mood the next. So we need to go beneath the iceberg to understand the other person as well. First of all, of course, understanding ourselves, and then dig deeper to understand why do they react in that way? What is it that's driving their behavior? Let's look at the first one called self-image. This is how you see yourself in society, and it affects what you think you should do in a particular role and the things that you consider to be important. It is formed and conditioned by our assumptions about the expectation of others, in particular what we assume important people, what they expect from us. And this naturally leads to some questions. First of all, who is important? Are you listening to them? Are you listening to people who actually don't know you? What expectations do I assume they have of me? And there's a big word there called assume. We need to find out. We associate these certain right things to do or think with roles that we have, either a manager or a parent, a volunteer, entrepreneur. Okay. And our perceptions and the expectations of others condition not only choices we make about our behavior, but also how we feel about those choices. So, what patterns of behavior do you see in yourself that you might want to examine again? Where is this trigger point? What is it that triggers this reaction that you have with people? It could be anything that stands below the surface, and without identifying it, we feel stressed. Past experience. We know that if we've seen somebody who might look like the person that we're dealing with, or that person has the same role, we might react in a certain way. We might be reserved because that's what we assume and almost project on other people as well. This is the past experience we need to again ask ourselves, what am I assuming? What is the past experience that's shaping my behavior in this one? And this is called the halo effect. So stop, ask yourself, why did you jump to that conclusion about that person, even before they show their true values? Emotional intelligence is all about understanding yourself, knowing your triggers, what drives you, and what are the conditions in life that direct your behavior. This is key. Understanding yourself is key to developing yourself as an entrepreneur and to stay focused. Then your values. Values are a strong driver that sit way below the surface line. When last did you think about your values and what they are? What behaviors or attributes do these values include? And when someone oversteps on your values, what is your behavior? When they lie or maybe cheat, or they say something that triggers a response in you that might not be positive. So why do you get angry with that person? Could this be that they are overstepping your value and you're not even aware of it? So in summary, when you assess yourself, your skills, knowledge, personality, values, self-image, past experience, be honest with yourself and see what is truth and what could be your assumptions. What are those trigger points? What are those conclusions that you jump to maybe that result in certain behavior? Remember, people see your behavior. They do not see your intent. And what I mean by that is your intention might be to be honest and straightforward. You come across in your behavior very differently to what you really want to communicate to others. So what I'd like you to do then is to spend this week and take note of how you behave in different circumstances. Find your trigger points and answer the questions in your workbook. Have a look at this. Understand what your values are. So I want to specifically go into values because values are the primary driver of what drives our behavior and the way we judge others. So values are the things that are important to you. Any moment in time, in your current need, in what you have experienced in the past. Values can be positive or potentially limiting. So let's have a look at those positive values and potentially limiting values. Positive values are often referred as virtues, enable us to live true to ourselves, to be able to connect with others and be part of a community who hold the same values as us. So those positive values are accountability, integrity, trust. We see this all the time. Business values and the values we have even in our family. So it translates in our business or organization into teamwork, customer satisfaction, financial stability. When we let our positive values drive our decision making, we build connection, enabling bonding and creating loyalty and trust. We feel at ease with ourselves and others because we have a connection between these positives and we're behaving and asked to behave according to these positive values. But what are those limiting values? Well, those things that might actually be holding us back. These arise from fears and anxieties we have about not being able to meet our needs. So the fears that we've identified here is a fear of being liked. I want to be liked. I want to be accepted. I want to be part of a team. I don't want to be ostracized. Could that be limiting your behavior? Caution or control. You're not sure, you don't have trust and they don't trust you. This is one that actually you could spend a lot of time on when just by positively looking at your values, seeing how they align with others, you can turn this wanting to be liked, this caution or this control, into a positive aspect. And potentially limiting organization values or the bureaucracy. If you're an entrepreneur and you've got other people, yes, it's important to have your processes, but don't create so much red tape that nobody can make decisions on their own. Make sure that they have the mandate, they understand what that code of values looks like, and enable them to make decisions without the hierarchy, without this wanting power and using power to make decisions rather than values. Personal mastery involves letting go of your limiting values and beliefs and replacing them with positive values and beliefs. In order to go to your potentially limiting values, you must learn how to manage, how to master or eliminate your fear-based beliefs. Again, go under the iceberg. Look at this. Is it my value or is it because of past experience? Is it because of my emotional intelligence? I'm not quite there yet. Question yourself and dig deep. This is a lot of self-reflection that happens. So why is it important for us to know our values and other values? Of course, it creates better understanding. It creates better communication when you're building your relationships. Business is all about building relationships and building trust. And when you understand each other's values and why you do what you do, it builds cooperation. It builds that common focus and trust. It almost forms the glue that holds you together. When there's conflict, how are you going to resolve that? This is where values play a part. So have a look at the values. In your workbook, these values are here. Look at all of these values. Say to yourself, what is important? What is not negotiable? What are those things that are important to me that I want to spend my time, my efforts, my energy on, that drive my behavior? Now, one of them, if you see it in the example here, is achievement. Now, achievement is being able to achieve my goals. So what does that look like when we come to behaviors? How does that translate when I start judging myself and judging others? I'm going to translate by that behavior. Remember what's above the iceberg. So I want to then be able to be clear as to what this thing called achievement or this value called achievement looks like for me. And there are some examples here. So set clear and stretching goals. I want to do that, but I want to see you. If you say that achievement is important to you, I want to see that. I'm going to judge you if you set clear and stretching goals. Be happy when others achieve. I don't want to have people who are not willing to support and help others to achieve. But maybe I might not achieve in those places, but I'll be happy when you do. And not everyone wants the same as you. My goals are my goals. Your goals are your goals. Don't transfer your goals onto somebody else and think that that is what is important and what's good for them. Keep your promises. Have the courage to own up. In order for others to achieve what they want to achieve, and even for yourself, keep your promises to yourself. If you commit to doing something, do it. If it's difficult, then do it first, and then enjoy all the others and celebrate your wins. Celebrate these little wins to achieve your goals, because sometimes our goals are long-term. Know your boundaries. Be bold to say no. This is where your self-image, your emotional intelligence comes in. If my driver is to please, it's a negative, it's a limiting one, because I'll say yes to everything and then find that I actually can't do everything because I only have 24 hours in my day. So have the courage to say no. Understand what your limiters are with regards to time, effort, money, whatever it may be, and know those boundaries. Very, very important. And then learn. Learn from your mistakes and others' mistakes. Be open to that. Be open to feedback. So you will see by this example how I've unpacked achievement. I've put behavioral or attitude indicators that I will look for if you say achievement is one of your values. And of course, I would judge myself from that. So please do your own values discovery exercise in your workbook. Give your values behavior descriptors that explain what you want to see if that person had that value. And of course, by being able to self-reflect in yourself. Be real with this. This is critical for us to understand who we are. And then share. Share some of these values on our discussion forum. You might not have all the values with their value descriptors. Why don't we share them? My value is achievement. But it might not be yours. But you might meet somebody who has the value of achievement. And I've given you some ideas of what to look for. So let's learn from each other, let's share, and see you in the discussion forum.